Welcome to Living Marvelously with me, Laurie Jonas. This is the show where we unleash the marvelous potential in every woman. Are you ready to dream big and leap into a life you love? Don't let the expectations of others choose for you. Step out of your comfort zone and learn how to create what your life looks like. I'll take you on an inspirational journey, helping you tap into the wellspring of your inner strength, get clear on your life purpose, and unleash the vision you came into the world to share. On Living Marvelously, you will learn about personal development, self-care, and spirituality. And together, we will connect with others, sharing their unique energies, and learn to create a world that allows everyone to shine. Living Marvelously starts now. To another episode of Living Marvelously with me, Laurie Jonas. Join me every second and fourth Thursday at 10 a.m. Central Time. So happy Thanksgiving. I hope you're enjoying your day so far, surrounded by good food, good people, good vibes. If you're tuning in after Thanksgiving, I hope it was a wonderful day filled with meaningful moments. But before we get into our topic today, I want to suggest something that you can be grateful for. It's the feeling of joy. What does that feel like to you? And what are you doing when you feel it? For me, I feel joy when I'm doing something and I lose track of time. Whether it's learning new information about spirituality, human design, hanging out with my family, with my grandkids, writing, sharing, creating, taking walks, not feeling rushed, but keeping busy, planning and going on vacations. And there's probably so much more, right? But my wish for you is to let your joy lead the way in your life with no regret, no shame, no fear, and no worry about what anyone else thinks. Discover what that is for you. It's that thing you wish you were doing more of. It's what gets you excited for your day. It's what puts a smile on your face. So be grateful for knowing what that is. And maybe if you're watching this before your Thanksgiving meal, it's something that you can share with your family and friends. Maybe when you're sitting around the table, the question is, let's be grateful for what brings us joy. What is that for you? And then you can all share in each other's joy. All right. The topic today that I wanted to talk about was, many of us wrestle with, during the holiday season, letting go of the idea of perfection. And not just perfection in the eyes of others, but also the perfection we impose on ourselves. The version of perfect we think we have to achieve to make the holidays special. But here's a question. Why do we stress ourselves out chasing a vision of perfection that doesn't even match the life we really want? Have you ever thought about it that way? This past weekend, I had the opportunity to speak to some truly amazing women at a mindfulness retreat. We talked about staying centered during the holiday season, and one thing became clear. You can't create your most marvelous life without first defining what that looks like for you. So don't go into this holiday season just kind of, like, I gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this, without first having some intention of what you want it to look like and how you want it to feel. It's kind of like planning a trip. You need to know your destination before you can pack your bags and know what to bring and head out. So the same goes for the holidays. I'd love for you to just take a moment and really reflect on this. What does a perfect holiday season look like to you? And what would it feel like? What are the emotions that you want to come up during this holiday season? Who are you with? Who are you spending your time with? And what activities truly bring you joy that you want to make sure that you um, prepare for or organize during this holiday season? So close your eyes for a few seconds, and I really want you to picture it. Is it a big gathering with everyone you know, or is it something smaller and more intimate? Is it filled with traditions that you've had for years, or something new and different this time around? Okay. Now, here's the follow-up question, and this one's important. That vision you now have in your head, how is that vision different from what you're actually trying to create right now? If your vision is just enjoying some quality time with family, maybe sitting by the fire and playing games and laughing and just catching up with everyone, are you planning a 8 fancy 8-person or however many people sit down dinner, making sure you have all matching plates and seats for everyone and the perfect spread of food? Is that really necessary to really get what you truly want for the holidays? Well, maybe it is. Maybe that's what you truly love to do, and no judgment there. You do what truly makes you happy, and if that's your vision, then you wouldn't be planning something else. So, are you planning things that feel aligned with what you truly want? And or are you caught up in the expectations of others? So, ask yourself, where do these expectations come from? Are they rooted in today's media portrayal of the perfect holiday? Are you looking at Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever your social media of choice is, and seeing what everybody else is doing and think, oh, I need to do that? What if I'm not doing that? You know? Or are they tied to family traditions? But maybe they no longer serve you. Maybe it's something grandma did that your mom and dad kept going. And then now you're like, I never really liked that. Why do I have to keep doing it? Or are they based on past experiences, either good or bad, or that make you feel compelled to recreate it or avoid it? And maybe it just needs a little bit of retuning. Like, okay, that really didn't work very well that year, but I kind of like that idea. Maybe we'll try it again and see what happens this year. So, when you can identify where those expectations are coming from, you can start to question whether they're truly yours or if they're just something you've adopted over time. Because this is where the magic happens. Once you know what you really want, you can start letting go of the rest. So let's talk about why so many of us feel this pull toward perfection during the holidays. If you're feeling that pressure right now, you're not alone. I've been there too. There's this invisible checklist we carry around, the perfect meal, the perfect decorations, the perfect gifts. But where does that checklist even come from? For many of us, it's rooted in the idea that the holidays are supposed to be magical, picture perfect. We grew up with stories and images, and we create this ideal in our minds. But think about it. You know those holiday commercials with the sparkling tables, perfectly wrapped gifts, and everyone sitting around smiling? Or those Instagram posts with captions like, best Thanksgiving ever. But, here's the truth. And we all know this. Those images are curated, they're staged. And while they can be inspiring, and if they do inspire you, that's great, they're really not real life. Real life is messy. It's mismatched napkins, a turkey that may or may not be dry, kids fighting, politics may be coming up in conversation, and you know what? That's okay. That's where the memories are. The other thing about those commercials that show all this picture perfect things in your holiday, like gifts and the meal and the table settings, what are they doing? They're trying to sell you something. They're trying to sell you that picture. And if that doesn't, you don't have to have it. That they're doing that in order to sell you their product. It doesn't mean that that's exactly what you have to do. Then there's family tradition. How many of us feel like we need to uphold traditions because, well, that's just how it's always been? Like I said before, maybe your grandma always made 5 different pies, so now you feel like you need to do the same. Or your family has always hosted the big dinner, and even though you're overwhelmed, you don't feel like you can pass the torch. And let's talk about comparison for a minute. We live in a world where we're constantly seeing what everyone else is doing. Social media can make it seem like everyone else has it all figured out. But here's something to remember. People post the highlights, not the behind the scenes. For every picture perfect table setting, there's probably a stressed out person who spent hours pulling it together. And again, I have zero judgment. I have friends who really truly enjoy putting together a picture perfect table setting, who truly enjoy making sure their home looks, very festive and magical. And more power to them. That's how they want to spend their time. But if that is not the vision you see for your holiday season, don't put that pressure on yourself. And finally, there's this deep desire that we all have to create lasting memories. And that's a beautiful thing. But when we put so much pressure on ourselves to make everything perfect, we often miss the actual joy of the moment. Here's an example. A friend of mine um, told me about a Christmas years ago when her oven broke while the turkey was roasting. And she was devastated. She had all these people over and she was trying to make a turkey and the oven wasn't cooking it. So there was going to be no turkey on the table. So she thought the whole day was ruined. But do you know what happened? Her family ordered pizza, ate by the fire, and spent the day playing games. And to this day, it's one of their favorite holiday memories. There was no pressure that you have to have that perfect meal. Maybe next year they'll go back to the turkey, but in the moment, that was perfect. Because the point is, it's not the perfection that makes the holidays special. It's the people, it's the laughter, and those perfectly imperfect moments. So let's take a moment to really check in with ourselves. Are we chasing an idea of perfection because it's what we truly want, or because we feel like we should? Let's remind ourselves that the holidays don't need to be perfect to be wonderful. I told you about the retreat that I was at last weekend, and I created this handout for it because we were talking about a lot of things about being mindful and present in this busy season of the holidays. And so I created a handout, and I'll put a link to it so you can download your own. But it kind of walks you through. You're putting together that idea of what your ideal holiday season would look like. And then we talk about what triggers you. What are the triggers that make you get stressed out during the holidays? And we talk about how to, once you know what those triggers are, how can you be more mindful? And then we talk about, maybe there's some things you can say no to. How can you create some new memories? How about mindful gift giving? It's a guide to walk you through a more mindful holiday season. Okay, so now that we've explored why we often feel the need for perfection, let's talk about what happens when we just let that go. It's pretty freeing. And the first thing to realize is perfect doesn't equal joyful. Like I talked about in the beginning, joy is not the same thing to everyone. So perfect just might be stress for you and not joy. So sometimes the pressure to make everything just right can actually suck the joy out of the experience. So think about it. If you're so focused on whether the table settings match or if the gravy is lump free, you might miss the hilarious story your uncle is telling or the chance to snuggle with your grandkids. So instead of aiming for perfection, let's aim for connection. At its heart, the holiday season is about spending time with the people we love. It's about those small, beautiful moments of togetherness, like a heartfelt conversation while washing dishes or a shared laugh over a cooking mishap. So here's another shift to consider: allowing flexibility and spontaneity. When we let go of rigid plans, we create space for surprises. I've talked about this a lot too. When we let go of our rigid plans, when we let go of what we think has to happen in our life, we really create room for surprises. And to me, that means we allow room for the universe to bring us what we're truly asking for and our true desires. So maybe that means you let the kids decorate the cookies. And even if they look like a hot mess, they're going to be perfect, right? Or deciding last minute to eat in the living room instead of the dining room because it just feels more fun. Or maybe it's not fretting about not having enough room around the table for everyone. That's a concern that I have most holidays is when we have a large family, we're never really sure who's going to come. And so I'm always fretting about, does everybody have a place to sit? But you know what? It doesn't matter. Half the people go downstairs. Half the people go into the other room and sit on the couch and talk. Not everybody sits around a table. So it's okay. Let it just figure it out on its own. Be surprised at how it works out. All right. And don't forget to be kind to yourself. Practicing self compassion is one of the most important ways to embrace imperfection. If something doesn't go as planned, remind yourself it's okay. Nobody remembers the things that went wrong, they remember how they felt. When you're relaxed and present, your joy becomes contagious. So the turkey was burnt. If you just like threw your hands in the air and got all upset and went upstairs and cried on your bed, that's making it 10 times worse. Just go with the flow. Oh, well, we don't have turkey. But maybe I have some turkey meat in the refrigerator and we'll make some sandwiches. Whatever it is, just practice that self-compassion to know that it's not always going to be perfect and it's okay. So here's the challenge. This holiday season, try letting one thing be perfectly imperfect. Maybe it's ordering a side dish instead of making it from scratch. Maybe it's skipping the fancy centerpiece and letting your grandkids make one out of paper. Or maybe it's waiting to deep clean the house until after the festivities. How does that sound? I know that's a big stress factor for a lot of people. When you're having people over, you think that your house has to be completely deep cleaned before they get there. And then everybody messes it up because there's so many people in the house, nobody can even see the floor. So they're not concerned about whether it's clean or not. And then when they leave, you've got another big mess to clean up. So waiting for the deep clean when you can really enjoy it. So whatever it is for you, notice how it feels to let go and savor the extra time and energy you might gain in return. All right, now that we've talked about the mindset shift, let's get a little practical. What are some simple, actionable ways to let go of the pressure and enjoy the holidays? So maybe it's to simplify your to-do list. Take a hard look at your holiday plans and ask yourself, what can I let go of? If the answer is baking 4 kinds of cookies, then give yourself permission to bake only 1 or 2 or none. Focus on the things that truly matter to you. And some of this might be saying no to 5 parties this holiday season. Pick the ones that you truly feel good about going to and maybe just go to them. And I don't actually, this question comes to my mind. Are people really even doing holiday parties anymore? Or is it just me not getting invited to holiday parties? I'm not sure, but I feel like there aren't as many holiday parties anymore. But if you have, um, just make sure that if you are invited to a holiday party, that it's going to fit into your schedule. It's not going to stress you out. And it's something that will truly bring you joy. Don't be afraid to say no this holiday season. All right, prioritize what brings you joy. We've talked about this a lot. Think about the traditions or activities that light you up and then let the rest go. Love decorating the tree? Do it. Hate wrapping gifts? Use gift bags and call it a day. My daughter is really good at wrapping gifts, and it's really fun to see what she brings every year. I don't want to put any pressure on her because if that's not what she wants to do this year, that's totally fine. But I am not good at wrapping gifts, and I often will use gift bags, or I don't like to use bows. it needs to be really simple for me, and that's okay. Delegate and share the load. You don't have to do it all. Let others help. Whether it's assigning a dish for someone to bring, asking for help with the cleanup, or even getting store-bought items to save time, do that. Again, let go of some of that pressure. And which one are you going to let go of? Create buffer time. Build moments of calm into your holiday schedule. Maybe there's a day where you're like, you know what? I'm not going to even worry about anything with the holidays. Today is just going to be about me. Maybe I'm going to go to the spa, or I'm going to just take an extra long walk, or I'm going to read that book. If you put some of that time into things that you really like to do, you feel better about not being able, you feel better about doing the other things. The other thing for me, here's an example. So I work a job outside of what I'm doing here, and I truly enjoy it. But I need time to do this. And so when I can make myself time to do what I do with Living Marvelously and sharing my message, I feel better about going to my other job and doing the work there because I know I have the flexibility of coming back and doing this. So same thing with the holidays. Give yourself time to do the things that you really want to do. Embrace the unexpected. Remember, the holidays don't have to go exactly as planned. Be open to the surprises. Be open to things the universe is bringing to you because you're in this feeling, this state of joy and appreciation and letting go. So, the happy accidents that often make the best memories. So, one of the women at the retreat was talking about how hard it is to get her family to help prepare for the holidays. And one of the ideas that came up for her was to call a family meeting and ask everyone what was most important to them. Because sometimes not everyone wants the same things. So if we think we have this picture of everything that has to get done over the holidays, and we are assuming that everybody else is on board and they're going to want to help and they're just going to reach out and they're going to say, how can I help you with what you want to have done this holiday season? It's probably not going to happen. So don't pass your pressure onto others. So during this family meeting, just sort of find out, hey, what's really important to everyone to have at the holidays? And if somebody says, oh gosh, I love the tree and seeing its decorations and the lights. Great. Can you help me with that? Somebody else says, oh, we have to have that one side dish at our meal. Oh, great. Do you want to make it this year? Or make it more of a buy-in for them. Okay. Another topic that came up at the retreat was gift giving. So instead of buying something just for the sake of giving a present, how about making it more mindful? Mindful giving reminds us that it's not about the price tag. It's about the love. It's about the intention. It's about the connection behind the gift. And because of that, it resonates on a much deeper level with others, making it something they truly cherish and remember. Because one woman was saying how she doesn't want any more like little tchotchkes in her house, and she doesn't want to give them to other people and clutter their homes, which is totally understandable. But then another woman said, you know what? I have a ton of t-shirts. I have more clothes than I need, but I was gifted a t-shirt last year that had something on it that really meant something to me. And I really appreciated that because there was a lot of thought behind that gift. So some of the ideas for mindful gift giving might be handmade gifts like baked goods, crafts, personalized notes, could be experiences. Consider things like a lunch date, a movie night, or a nature walk together. It could be acts of service. Encourage small, meaningful actions like offering to help with chores, babysit, or provide a ride. I wrote a post a couple years ago now, but it's called Gifts with the True Meaning of Christmas in Mind. And so here are some examples that I wrote on there. So maybe it's tickets to a sports game. Maybe it's meal prep kits like HelloFresh or, Blue Apron. There's so many of them now. Movie tickets, audiobook memberships. Maybe it's a day to help around the house. Maybe once a month, you go to your son or daughter's home and you clean it for them, or you do their yard work, or, um, you babysit. Let's see. Oh, here's a good one. And it's a gift I've received before. My my husband's grandma put together a book of her favorite recipes, and I just love it. I cherish that. Memberships to museums or the zoo, lessons for cooking, maybe dancing or fitness, memberships to Amazon, Costco. Maybe it's all those streaming services now. Maybe you buy a year of a streaming service for somebody. There are so many ideas. And of course, the other thing is, just ask, hey, what do you want? Well, one of my sons wants socks every single year. So I always buy him socks because he truly enjoys having new socks. So mindful giving just means we've put some intention around it. But sometimes when you say that, that stresses you out. So don't let that stress you out too. Mindful giving is, you know what? This is what I have time for this year. I truly appreciate who you are, and I know you love to do this. I'm going to give you something that um, can goes along with that. So just taking a moment to think and reflect, and really gift giving has, besides the little kids, nobody really wants gifts anymore. So if you even bring something that feels meaningful, that's going to be a plus for you. So we're going to wrap up today's show, but I want to leave you with this thought. The holidays are not a performance. They're an opportunity to connect with your loved ones, with the season, and with yourself. So, if there's one thing I hope you'll take away from this conversation, it's that you don't have to make the holidays perfect to make them meaningful. So, instead of chasing the picture perfect holiday, focus on creating moments that feel good to you. Embrace the imperfections, the surprises, and even the mishaps because they're part of what makes this time of year so special. And finally, take a moment to pause and appreciate what's already here. Whether it's the people around your table, the quiet moments in between, or even just the laughter that happens when things don't go as planned, there's so much to be grateful for. And this just popped into my head as I was saying these words that, maybe there's even a spot for being grateful for the people that are gone now, for taking a moment to talk about the holidays when they were there, to talk about what they used to bring to the holidays. And of course, I'm specifically thinking of my mom. She was a huge part of our holidays. And I would love to be able to bring more of that to our table when we're together. Like, what do you remember about mom or grandma during the holidays? I like that idea. I'm gonna use that one. So, thank you for spending a little bit of your holiday with me. Next time on Living Marvelously, let's talk about the art of small steps, how micro changes and daily habits can really lead to big transformations, with tips for starting the year with grace and ease. Because we are getting into December and then it's January, and I hope you're thinking, maybe not yet, because we're busy in the holiday season, but I hope you will start thinking about what are your goals for 2025? What haven't you done yet that you really want to do? And 2025 is going to be the year that you do it. All right, that's it for today. I hope this season is filled with love, connection, and a whole lot of joy, just the way it is. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for listening to Living Marvelously with me, your host, Laurie Jonas. Tune in next time to unleash the marvelous potential in every woman, every second and fourth Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific on transformationtalkradio.com as I help you choose a life that you are passionate about. Learn to embrace your unique self, dream big, and leap into what you choose to have your marvelous life look like. Together we create a world that allows everyone to shine. For more information, visit livingmarvelously.com. That's livingmarvelously.com. See you next time on Living Marvelously.